knew who else that had emptied his wallet and, as the night wore on, worn out his credit card. And it was a fucking waste. They were using him, but he couldn't help himself. It had been the same at school. They were the cool kids, the football players, the ones with fake IDs and pretty girlfriends. Most of the other pupils let him get on with it. They were happy to be the geeks, or the nerds, or fill whatever social niche they found themselves in. But Stan wasn't. He wanted them to like him. He wanted to be cool, to be the best player on the team, to walk with the swagger they walked with. They knew it. They dangled membership in front of him, taunted him with the prospect they would welcome him into their group. At parties, they goaded him into doing stupid stuff. "Hey, Stan, drink this." Or, "Stan the man, you'll take on the dare, right? Go and pull Margie's thong up from the back of her jeans." He did it. Every time. He couldn't stop himself. And every time the drink made him vomit, or the girl, rightfully enough, slapped him and told him he was on one memorable occasion, a no-balls wanker who could fuck right off. And here he was, doing it again. Since they left school, he'd created a carefully curated image on Instagram and Facebook. Anyone looking at his social media would think he was a successful financial advisor with a burgeoning private practice. Another happy client. #Davidson Financial. And a brand new Audi A3. In fact, he had one client, his Uncle Tony, whose total portfolio was worth a tick shy of 25,000 quid, 2,000 of which he let Stan invest for him. The Audi in his photos was rented. He and his dad had gone to visit some dying relative in Edinburgh, and his mum was using the car. The rental clerk, bored, had upgraded them. So when Carl had seen him in the pub and said, "Looks like you're doing well for yourself, always knew you'd make it, Stan the man," he'd nodded nonchalantly. And when Andy had said, "Drinks on you, mate," and Ben had added, "Mine's a pint Stella," he'd replied, "Only two, please, lads. Go for it." Which was why he was walking home in the fucking rain. He turned left onto a road that ran alongside a patch of waste ground. There was a sign up declaring it to be the property of some development company and warning people to keep out. That was how to make money. Property, not advising your bloody uncle. As he walked, he saw a car, no lights on, parked by the road. It was a strange place to leave a car, and he looked around for an owner. Maybe someone pissing in the bushes. There was nobody, and he carried on walking. He passed the car. Up ahead was a railway bridge, then a left turn, and a few hundred yards to his road. He walked under the bridge, the darkness sudden after the moonlit street. Behind him, he heard a footstep, and he spun around. His eyes were not adjusted to the light, but he was able to make out a silhouette. It was hooded, and, as he decided it was time to run, it raised a hand. A hand that held something he recognised. A hand that held a hammer. Once the boy was dead, the hooded figure worked quickly. The body was rolled onto its back, the arms were folded over the chest. The figure knelt by the body, as though in prayer, then raised a finger, encased in a blue surgical glove, and dipped it into the gaping wound on Stan Davidson's temple. It contemplated the blood. Then slowly, almost reverently, it opened its mouth and sucked the finger clean. It gave a low moan, and then took something from the pocket of its jeans and placed it delicately in the hand of its victim. Part 1. Friday, 16th July, 2021. Tom. He'd been back at work for 2 weeks, and he wasn't sure he could survive much longer. His employer, a Scandinavian engineering company, had an enlightened parental leave policy, so he'd stayed at home with his daughter Joanna, or Jo, for the first 4 months of her life. Alice was a self-employed journalist and, if she was to have any income at all, had to work, so initially the role of primary carer had fallen to him. It had been hard. Jo wasn't much of a sleeper, and he and Alice were in a state of constant exhaustion, but his dad had said something to him that had stuck with him. "I never had this chance," he said. "When you and your brother were born, I had 2 days..."